Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling. Shocking, I know. And I'm joined once again, shocking, I know, by my friend, Books. Books, hello.
Hello, Slop Tarts. Hello, Blade.
Yes.
Happy Friday.
I didn't know if you were talking to me or them when you said Slop Tart, but then you said Slop Tarts. And I was like, okay, it's them.
Well, I figured I'd also give you a special shout out. I'm trying to put Slop Tarts back into my vocabulary because not being on TikTok, I've really dropped off on the Slop Tarts talk. And man, I love that word.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. It really is fantastic. I've seen so much fan art of people referencing Slop Tarts. It's just absolutely amazing.
I can't believe they didn't trademark that, but
yeah.
They didn't.
I mean, Tony Storm just gave them so much gold. You know what I mean? Just like mint money from this. So first things first, speaking of Professor Degree, Books, Degree, and I were live on Monday. We did our first episode of Shut Up Forever, the combined show of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, and Pro Wrestling Forever, where we reviewed Double or Nothing. And Books, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. It was a very long episode, too.
It was. We had a lot to say.
We had a lot to say.
You don't have that caliber of pay-per-view and not go on and on and on.
Yeah, no, totally. That's true. It was a 5-hour show and we did a 3-hour review. So, you know, I think that's a pretty good ratio. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Please like the video, click the notification bell, leave a comment, tell a friend, tell your grandmother, tell somebody who cares, okay? Because we are talking about the wrestling we see on the screen. Not the wrestling shit that everybody else talks about that nobody actually cares about all that much, all right? We don't care about ticket sales. We don't care about pay-per-view buys, unless it's AEW and they're doing good. Then we'll talk about them. But if it's bad, we don't talk about it. We just move right on. But speaking of Pro Wrestling Forever, this Monday, Professor Degree and I are doing our first episode of Into the Wrestleverse, where we explore the possibility that didn't happen that almost happened, of Ric Flair debuting in WWF at SummerSlam 1998, which was rumored at the time. Without Ric Flair, would Ted Turner even buy JCP? Would WCW even exist? What would happen to everyone else on the roster? How would that impact Savage and Hogan? What about Hogan and the Warrior? On Monday, you tune in with us at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll be talking all about it. Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see it all because we've done an unnecessary amount of research to prepare for it.
I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, our fantasy book and little hearts are going to be full. When we did that show on Monday, Books, there weren't a ton of show reviews live yet, but it's been pretty much uniform since then. I've seen people call Double or Nothing the show of the year, AEW's best ever show, and some are calling it the best pay-per-view of all time.
That's what I've called it. And I mean, mind you, I haven't seen a lot of WWE things, and my only previous one was Halloween Havoc, which was not a pay-per-view, but I'm going to consider it one. I would consider this the best pay-per-view I've ever watched.
I'm trying to let the recency bias subside just a little bit. I was actually scared to go back and rewatch any of it because I loved it so much in the moment that I was like, if it's any less than what I remember, I'm going to be so sad. And it was just as good. In fact, at times better.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't like, oh, what's going to happen? It was like just sitting, being completely present, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I watched Okada and Takeshita again. Fantastic match. Jesus Christ. Swerve and Bandito again. Holy shit.
I'm a little surprised Meltzer didn't give either one of those. I'm surprised Okada and Takeshita didn't get more than 5, but
yeah, what the hell? I didn't really see much of the ratings other than that Athena
I
match.
looked at his women ones and I quickly stopped looking.
You're an asshole.
Dave is a part of the problem.
Blurryline said having Flair and Warrior on the same roster feels very wrong, and yet they did it twice. 1992, the Ultimate Warrior comes back to WWF. Ric Flair, the same night Ric Flair loses the world title to Randy Savage, and then Flair and the Warrior wrestle each other on house shows. And 1998, Warrior comes to WCW while Flair's there to face the Hulkster. Yeah. It wasn't AEW's best show ever, but it was AEW's most consistent show ever. Like there was zero dips. Blurryline, that much I could definitely agree. Even the part involving Jericho was good.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a bathroom break,
it wasn't a bathroom break. And I think the construction of this show was perfect because of several things. And real quickly, I'm just going to say, having some heel turns made a big difference. Okay. Having Kyle Fletcher do his turn on the pay-per-view was a lot better than waiting to Dynamite. Okay.
Yeah.
Too often, I feel like the big moments get brushed by too quickly on pay-per-views to get to the next match. And they didn't do that on this show. The Kevin Knight heel turn obviously was like, what the fuck? And then the show went off the air. But the other thing that I think made a huge difference was Stadium Stampede and having something kind of goofy. If made for a nice change of pace. And you don't need to do something that epic and goofy every show, but doing it once in a while really added to the presentation, I thought.
Yeah, there was there wasn't a pacing issue, which sometimes I think AEW has a pacing issue with pay-per-views where they just paced wrong, but it was perfectly paced. Like one of the few compliments I will give Tony Khan this week.
Not gonna lie, if AEW are doing shows without Jericho P-break matches, then I want a 5-minute intermission. I missed the first few minutes of Mox and Kyle because I went to get some cake. Well, fair enough, and that's a very valid reason. It was a long match as I expected it to be, so that was good. That was a good choice. But that's not why we're here today, Books.
No, it's not.
It's not why we're here. And unfortunately, while we're here, the main topic of today's session is what the fuck is going on with the AEW women's division. Now, over the last several months, you and I have been noting each and every episode where it feels like there was very few women, barely any women, like 2 women, 3 women, 4 women, right? I've mentioned it on Threads a few times. But this episode of Dynamite was so egregious that you, in a group chat we were all in, got so fucking pissed. You're like, I am going to fucking raise hell. And you left the group chat and like 15 minutes goes by. And I went over on Threads and fucking chaos everywhere. Just like that city burning meme, like with a little Muppet on it that just says chaos or whatever. That's what that felt like, because you just tapped into the zeitgeist of how people were feeling in that moment.
I calculated for on 3-hour show, women had less than 30 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a 3-hour show.
Yep. And it was really unevenly distributed in the first place. You have the Brawling Birds have a promo, I think at the beginning of hour 2 or something like that. Then Ty J have like a 2-minute squash match towards the end of hour 2.
10 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have a lights out match at the end of the show for an overrun. It was 11 p.m. on the East Coast by the time Sheeta and Stat were in the ring. Fucking ridiculous.
Oh, and someone pointed out that a lot of like recording like stuff will stop after 3 hours. So there is probably like a good chance that some people didn't actually get to see that match, which is so stupid on all of their parts.
Yep. Well, and what tells you everything you need to know is think about every other 3-hour show they've ever done. Okay. When has the main event, the thing they most wanted you to see, gone on right at the end of the show? It never does. It's always in the first hour or the second hour. They're never, ever going to put it in the third hour.
No,
okay?
And there was no reason for that match in particular to be a lights out match at this point. This feud is just starting. Why are we doing a lights out, which is almost like a final, like the ending to a feud? Why is that being done now and not 3 matches from now?
Well, and this is where Tony Khan's been a little nefarious recently. And Tony, you hurt my feelings this week. Okay, I'm going to be real.
You hurt mine too.
I am not used to feeling insulted, having my intelligence feel insulted by AEW. Okay. That's always been one of the selling points of AEW to me. They don't tell me what I want. They listen, they respond, right? But this week and in weeks prior, as we have discussed on other episodes, AEW has been doing these 5-minute eliminator matches, which when you're barely featuring the fucking women feels like an excuse to only have a 5-minute match. Having a lights out match that wasn't really a lights out match. It was just a hardcore match that ended in the ring, just like a hardcore match, felt like an excuse to put it on last. And that you came up with a stipulation that would like legitimize the need to do that. Come on, Tony. What fucking bullshit is that? That is bullshit, dude. Like, that match should not have been in that spot. It was the best match of the show by far. I really, 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 really like it. Sheeta and Stat went all the way at it. They totally stole the show, in my opinion.
If they put it on, I think at the end of the first hour, top of the second, it would have been, there would have been a lot different reaction. Online.
Let's see what our sickos are saying right now. We got a lot more to say. Larry Line, it was like 200 minutes and we got 2 women's matches. One of them started at the top of the 4th hour. Exactly. It was a very good match, but like only 6 psychos would be staying up, which Joe is one of those people. And I noticed he was talking all about the match the night of it, and he lives in the UK, so it was much later for him. Anthony says, I always get pissed off the way Tony Khan does that to the women. I mean, I can't argue with you there. Skewer Universe podcast, more women's wrestling, less filler content. Yeah. Devil Dinosaur said, for the first time in who knows how long, social media wasn't full of incels and fed heads complaining about AEW. Unfortunately, it was full of sickos raging righteously. True.
And that's how you know people are at their breaking point, because it is the fans complaining.
Always Never says it being a lights out match was bullshit. Agreed. Anthony says, I think it has to do with WB, but I'm not sure. We're going to get into that. Blurry Line, they would have put this match on Rampage if it still existed, and I'm not meaning that as a compliment to TK. That is correct. That is 100% that's how I feel about the 3rd hour. When they add those, it's like, instead of like Dynamite and Collision, it really feels more like a Dynamite and a Rampage.
Yeah.
It's a separate show, but it's only an hour long, and it has the pacing of a Rampage kind of. Yeah.
They need to bring back a show like Rampage, or even Dark on YouTube. They need an extra hour. Their roster is too good and too big to only have 4 hours of weekly television.
Always Never agree, Blurry Line. It existing is dope. It being in place of another tag singles match, nah. Yeah, so I think that we're going to talk about so many angles of this, because there's many, many, many angles to this. My notes for just this topic are so vast because I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to get all the shots and let them all sink in, okay? It came off to me, like I said, as an excuse to put the match very last on the show and called it the main event. The women then kill it, but it's the match people are most likely to miss or go to bed and watch it the next day. And what does that do? That just justifies this whole like women don't draw ratings, right? If that's the problem, you're making the problem because you're putting them in the worst possible spot.
And just a random fact, I mean, women only shows tend to do great. Like, did Evolution 2.0 sell out? No, but that's more on WWE's fault of when it was, where it was, and what the ticket prices were. But it was still their most highest rated show of the year, and the highest, like, where people like me who hate WWE and won't watch went to watch that because I wanted to support women's wrestling. I wanted that show to have the views because I want more women's wrestling. So yeah, women's wrestling does draw. I don't like where I want to know where they're getting these numbers from because I think it's bullshit. I think it's just a misogynistic excuse from men who run stuff.
Right. And so Tony did allude to having more freedom to book women on Ring of Honor at the Scrum. I want to be really clear about something. We don't know a lot of shit. Okay. I don't know the internal workings of WBD or AEW. But I'm going to frame this a little different way. It has been said that the litany of complaints that WBD received after Hangman shared that feedback form on Blue Sky in the wake of those horrific ice ads last year is what led them to being eventually pulled. So we're going to share those same links in the chat and in the show notes. So please check out the show notes, write to HBO Max, write to TBS, and let them know, okay? Do I understand every intricacy of running a wrestling promotion? Of course not. Should I need to in order to have a strong opinion about what I pay to watch every week? Fuck no. Okay? I only subscribe to HBO Max for AEW. If they didn't air Dynamite and Collision, I would weigh my subscription on a month-to-month basis like any other streaming service. I pay more than $30 a month for the base subscription to HBO Max, plus $40 a month for a discounted pay-per-view, which is hilarious because it's not really that discounted. I actually pay more. I do this to support AEW. With tax and everything, I'm giving these guys more than $70 a month. So I will make my displeasure known where and whenever the fuck I feel the need to. That's called being a consumer.
And I think it's very toxic when people say not to complain. Like, I'm not going to just shut up and enjoy something that I am paying to watch. I don't sit and shut up for things that are free. Like, if you're supposed to be entertaining me, I want to have a say. I want to get my voice out there because that's the whole fucking point of capitalism.
Right. Kaylee Metz says Dark Live on YouTube would be perfect to get new fans introduced to the roster. Totally agree.
Yeah, it cost them no extra money. Like, I don't understand why they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure to film it somewhere and not have it be a part of, like, the tapings, it adds cost, I'm sure. But, like, I know they are overhauling.
Do it before events. It was... Instead of Ring of Honor, like they're doing dark matches at the shows now. So film them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and when you have a live Collision, do a combined Dynamite dark taping, whatever. I would prefer it as a different show too. Like I enjoy the 3-hour Dynamites when they're rare, but I don't want 3-hour Dynamite to be a thing. I don't either. Nobody can make that sustainable. It's too much. Rurausha, he did say something about it in the Scrum of how he has better opportunities to book women on ROH, but yeah, that's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. And there were some people online when books started a fucking riot.
You're welcome.
So like I said, so Book says in this group chat that we're in, like, fuck this, I'm going to fucking let my feelings be known. And people went apeshit on Threads, and it was awesome.
TikTok videos are being made. YouTube videos are being made.
Yeah.
Do I think I started it? No. I just think I lit the fire because I hit my limit.
Yeah.
And
if it's a Tony Khan issue, he needs to hear it. If it's a WBD issue, they need to hear it.
They need to hear it.
If we just go, it's a WBD issue, it's not Tony, there's nothing he can do, and we just accept that, like a lot of people make that excuse, that's bullshit. You tell WBD, I subscribe to this because of AEW. If you don't put more women on this thing, I'll steal the fucking show. Pirating is like everywhere.
But I'm also going to throw out, Tony Khan's a boss, right? He is the booker. He is the boss of AEW. You know what good bosses do? They stand up for their employees. So I'm over the Tony Khan can't do anything because I don't know. I've had bosses that are much lower down the totem pole than Tony Khan. Do something. And I work at a Fortune 500. So.
Yeah, totally. Kaylee Metz says TK is quick to address other issues in regards to WBD, but there has been silence on this issue.
He just wants to throw it and blame everyone else but himself, because this has been an ongoing issue with Tony Khan. And let's remember, he's over 40 years old. He's a billionaire. We don't have to coddle his little feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of pick-me bitches, yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I'll get to that. Haley says, the amount of pick-me bitches telling us to accept the short time women get was immense. They need to get their mouth of TK's sack.
And I say this as the person who jokes that they're Tony
off
Khan.
TK's sack. Okay, got it.
Like, I am never not going to hold someone accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And we know he can do it, which is the worst part about this, is when you look at ROH, we know he knows what he's doing. So just put your big boy pants on, go to Warner Brothers and say, you know what? I understand my top 3 are out right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony's probably not going to be back because she is maybe injured by Juice Robinson. We don't know. Nothing's been confirmed yet. Mercedes is most like, I still don't think she's coming back to All In. And now we're out Willow. Oh yeah, I'm out my 3 big ones. But you know what? Just like you trust me to build new male stars, I can do that with the women.
Yeah.
Let me get RJ on the phone. Let us brainstorm, and we'll come up with the next Hollywood ending.
Well, and here's the other thing. You have Tekla, who has gotten massively over.
Oh, she's so fucking funny.
And she's the champ for one. She's featured on one of the shows every single week, in a match, something. And she is doing the Mercedes reign where she is just always wrestling the next challenger, but they don't have like a feud. It's just like a challenger, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't get people invested. You don't do that when Hangman's the champion. You don't do that when MJF's the champion. You don't do that when Darby was the champion, and you had to build a new challenger for Darby every single fucking week, oftentimes twice a week.
Yeah. And I was really invested in those.
And with Tekla, Blurry Line's the one who originally said this, is she has succeeded in spite of pretty poor booking, not because of good booking.
Yeah, no, she's gotten herself over with, which is she's kind of going the Brit route and making you want to tune into her with the poor booking. So congratulations to her. I'm so invested in her myself, especially for Forbidden Door, because she herself has been slowly booking her versus Stardom Okada. And I cannot wait to see that happen.
Skewered Universe says, we know he hears us when we speak up. Look at the MJF Jarrett misogyny promo stuff. That quickly got axed. Absolutely. Blurry Line says, you cannot make another Tony Storm level star if you don't give them Tony Storm TV time. 100%.
You have to let them shine. If you don't let them shine, you don't get new stars. He knows this for the men.
Well, and there are again, Tekla being one of them, but there are plenty of women that if you gave them the time to shine, they would excel. Now, the people who say Tony Khan hates women's wrestling are taking it too far. In my opinion, he's shown that's not true. That's not true. I don't believe that at all. I do believe Tony is very beholden to his handlers at WBD, and that's the unfortunate truth.
He doesn't want to ruffle the boat. He does ruffle feathers and shake the boat, and that's the biggest. And that's why I'm trying to hold him accountable too, because he has to man up at some point and defend his women's division.
Well, and Kaylee's making a great point here. Women are the largest group of consumers, and the constant disrespect of that fact is so dumb on WB's behalf.
Yeah. When you go to a live show, there's the people that are most into the show are women. I made friends with a group of women around me as we were all cheering against separate people. The girls in front of me were huge Jade White fans, so they kept rooting for the dogs while I was rooting for the other people, but we kept high-fiving. Like, we had the most energy out of everyone in the crowd.
To my understanding, it goes back to like Total Divas almost, where they really went aggressively after a female demographic. right? For the first time, really ever. And they succeeded in bringing women into wrestling. And ever since then, there are more women watching wrestling, which I think is dope as fuck. Okay. But women don't watch wrestling just to leer at sexy dudes. Okay.
No. I want to watch people smack each other.
They want to see people who look like them, who feel like them, who have something in common, very in common with them, do fucking cool shit. That's why men watch wrestling. I don't watch it just to leer at dudes either, you know, or leer at women.
And something I brought up to you earlier was my biggest issue with the women getting lack of screen time now is we're living in a time where the trad wife aesthetic is really being pushed, and this very soft, delicate woman is being pushed. And, you know, we're really pushing the super skinny Y2K heroin chic. So we're giving less women time as this heroin, weak women shit is being pushed, instead of pushing the women that are strong, who are all different body types, that that show you can do anything while being a different body type. I can tell you this, like, I learned so much about my body confidence because of watching wrestling, of seeing different women of different body shapes and different sizes go out there. Willow in particular is a huge body positive person who's out there. Like Bailey, all these other people are doing such great things to like bring in young women and promote a healthy view of bodies. And it's just bullshit that we're it's almost like Warner Brothers like, no, we see the trend until you get, oh my God, what was it? Lacey? The patriotic housewife bullshit from WWE.
Right. Yeah.
Until you get one of her, we can't push women because we're pushing soft and feminine. Not that there's anything wrong with soft and feminine, but that's not wrestling.
Totally. I get it. But like, I get what you're saying. And I think like, there's a reason that Willow is such a badass and that people gravitate towards Willow is because she does kind of project that, like, no matter your body type, no matter your, you know, anything, you can be a fucking star. You can be a hero. And it's funny because her character is actually a nihilist and and she's the most positive character on the show, which is hilarious. Let's get in the chat here real quick. Antoine says Tony is creating the problem himself. Over half the earth. Stardom sold out the Tokyo Dome. Come on. Agree?
Yeah. There's plenty of proof that women's wrestling sells.
Yeah.
But it's that's why the ratings nonsense is bullshit.
Well, and it requires just a little bit of patience, you know, a little bit. TK would like to do more women's wrestling, but he doesn't care enough to stand up for it. Hard to argue. Anthony says, I really like the ball cap blade. Thank you, friend. I do too. This is my funker hat. Because he would stand up for it if it was his priority. He surely has enough cachet with WBD to stand up for things he truly believes in. I think you're right. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think by now, Tony Khan should be kind of a legend within those offices because he's brought them a show that for 7 years has brought them consistent ratings that are continuing to go back up. So like,
and money.
You should be a fucking hero to them, you know? You should be a fucking hero.
And money, because they're getting more and more sponsorships too. Like,
yeah,
AEW has brought in so much money.
Right. Blair Line said, Devil Dinosaur says, we can't change the women's division until we change the world, but wasn't change the world the motto of the elite? Yes, it was.
I'm actually when I make a video tomorrow, my own video, I'm gonna steal that line.
Larry Line, in the time where media and establishment types are pushing Sydney Sweeney's as the ideal, we need someone pushing back just as hard with Willows and Stats. Bold fucking women who kick arse. Oh, good. You've reminded me of Lacey Evans, and I think I'm entitled to compensation.
I'm sorry. When I think of I mean, I know she was a Marine and stuff, but I think of all those weird gimmicks she did. And then she was like dating Ric Flair for a second. I'm just like, I feel like that's like what, like, I think of like the ideal, like what the Sydney Sweeney of wrestling is Lacey Evans.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, I don't even want to know how much money I paid AEW since they announced the promotion. It's an obscene amount of money, whether it's pay-per-views, merch, tickets, toys, whatever. And I am far from the only one. They make a great product, but I have more than paid my way to have a voice, and saying, oh, it's not TK doing it, so there's nothing I can do, solves fucking nothing. Stop it. Stop like being loyal to a logo instead of like the actual performers. It's fucked up. So use the contact forms that we will drop in the chat here in just a few minutes. I didn't have them queued up because I'm a smart boy.
And I'll also post them to Threads.
Yeah, and blow up TBS and HBO Max. There are so many incredible women in AEW that are not being featured, or being featured in a really superficial way. And it's simply not good enough at all. We've been extremely patient. We've made our points in good faith. And last year, when AEW introduced the women's tag titles and did women's blood and guts, we applauded. And for several months after, and for several months after that, up through like Revolution, I would say, AEW kept following through. When Mercedes took a leave at the end of the year, and then Toni Storm also had to leave, the amount of women featured tapered off drastically. This isn't a matter of extreme emotion. They're just facts that anyone can verify, that we've been talking about for a while, but it's clear now that we need to be more direct. It's not acceptable to go backwards with the women's division, AEW. Do better, and do better now. Last thing I want to say is, again, with the people who say watch ROH, the other thing about saying that is ROH is behind a paywall, okay? Like, it's really presumptive and presumptuous to assume that everybody can afford to watch ROH, okay? Not everybody can. I have paid for ROH, whether I can watch it or not. I have had entire months where I didn't watch it, and I still pay for it, again, to support the promotion, right? But telling me, like, why should I pay HBO Max for 4 hours of wrestling a week? Why should I have to pay ROH to go see women's wrestling? And it won't even be the women that normally wrestle in AEW. What?
Yeah, it's a bullshit excuse. It's just people wanting to coddle a 40-year-old billionaire.
Stop coddling billionaires. Stop the bootlicking. You know, normally we're talking about the Fed head bootlickers. This is Tony Khan bootlicking, and I won't stand for it.
And I say this as his wife and lover.
That's true.
Don't bootlick that little shithead.
I heard he wasn't taking your calls because he knew.
No, he's very mad at me. Yeah,
he's very mad. We want Nyla. Kaylee says, yeah, we do. I miss Nyla.
Well, I still have a theory on that. I think she doesn't want to be on American TV and with the state of the country. And
being a very public trans person, I could see that. Nyla versus Tekla would have been a fucking banger. It really would.
You know, if we only voted correctly.
If we get out the vote or kick the tires or pinch some ears, we could do this, Michael Leader says. Hey, we can do it. It's really a matter of, look, when people feel like they're going to lose money because of something they are not doing that they can easily do, they'll do it. So they have announced 2 women's matches for Collision, but one of them is a 5-minute eliminator match.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. So it's not like, that's not the magic solution, certainly. No. But it feels like a bullshit way for them to say, like, hey, we have 2 women's matches on the show, you know?
If it was like cherry on top of good women's booking, I would have no issue with it. But in fact, it's being used to gaslight us into there's women's wrestling.
And that's so gross, man. Like, I don't want this from AEW. Don't be gaslighting us, you motherfuckers. I see through that shit. I get gaslit by the government every goddamn day.
Well, and people get gaslit by WWE, so he's doing no different than what Triple H is doing when he's like, don't you complain.
Yeah. Well, and AEW has been the anti that. So, like, you got to continue to be the anti that, Tony. You can't change horses in midstream here, pal. I really wish ROH wasn't behind a paywall. They need a TV show. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. AEW needs Maki Ito more than ever now. She's doing really well in Stardom. That woman went and got herself way over. The current state of the union is fucked, my dudes. It sure is. It sure is.
I actually have hope that based on the logo of Redemption, that it might be a more Stardom and AEW based show.
Yeah, there was,
and that would be fucking great.
Almost like a feminine vibe to it. I didn't want to box it in too much because it can still be, it can just be pretty, but like, yeah, it felt a little, I was like, what's going on with that show? AEW, you can do better. We know you can do better. You were doing way better recently. And my hope was that we would eventually get to parity, right? Because we were so much closer 3 months ago.
Yeah. And now we've taken 20 steps back.
Yeah. Feels a million miles away. Always Never says Stardom needs to be front and center for Forbidden Door. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Antoine, I think sometimes that's what it is. Take Serena deep. She's still active as heck. They don't want to come back. I think sometimes that's true. Redemption pay-per-view would be a good opportunity for AEW to redeem their women's division. Agreed. Yes. Agreed. But Forbidden Door is the next one, and I hope they got some cool shit planned with the female talent from Stardom and AEW for that.
I have one last complaint.
Please.
Okay. One, it's been 2 weeks since Willow?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait.
Why are we just finding out their plan on TNT on Saturday? I don't know. You know what would have been a good time to do that? On TBS.
Yes. It's a continuity thing, I agree, but I would say it would have been nice to have that title feel valued and have an announcement made sooner than this Saturday, rather than waiting 10 days. I mean,
they already put their women's title as a second thought in a pay-per-view match for the women's title. But
yeah, the champion, yeah. Kaylee is convinced that he said it would be addressed on Wednesday at the Scrum.
I thought he said Saturday.
I didn't. No, he said Saturday on Wednesday.
Okay.
But at the Scrum, I never watched the Scrum. I've seen the quotes, but I haven't watched it myself. So
yeah, I can't watch the Scrum because I get too annoyed. Sometimes I can't stand the way he talks.
Larry Light says, to think we've regressed so far because Tony went to get that torn labia fixed that she injured in the Soho death match against Stan Hansen. Okay, and Blair Line confirms he did say Wednesday originally.
He needs to learn to pivot better with the women like he does with the men. And that's a him issue and something he needs to look inward on.
Again, AEW. These are your hardest core fans talking to you right now. Okay, it would be really wise to listen the fuck up. Okay, these are the people that are the bedrock of your product. Okay, like you just canceled a toy line that I collected almost all of. I love AEW, and that's why I'm going to be hard on you when you do stupid shit. Yeah, exactly. Look at those toys in the background for books. Look at fucking stuffed Kenny back there that annoys the shit out of me half the time.
Oh no, that's.
You think you got what it takes to take on the cleaner?
Oh God. Okay. Tino says the real story is that Tony ran off with Wendy Richter. I've heard that too. Michael Leader says, is anyone else still sore from watching Lights Out match? With Statlander. Yeah, that was a badass match. That was awesome. Okay, well, we are going to move on. We have given this a solid 45 minutes, and I'm proud of us. So, Kevin Knight, books. I used to think he was such a nice young man.
I'm not ready to talk about this. My whole world has come crashing down, and I'm heartbroken. And I just got this amazing shirt that and how am I supposed to wear this now?
The Jet Set Rodeo shirt?
The horse chicken?
You think they're broken up?
I do.
It's pretty hard, I think, when you brutally attack your teammate for them to just want to get back into a team with you.
Yeah.
Hard to be like, my bad, bro. Bad day. Like I humiliated you in your pajama suit gi that you were wearing on live TV.
I'm sorry. Speedball looked amazing.
Speedball looked fantastic in the sweatsuit gi pajamas that he was wearing with those awesome shoes. No socks, of course, because it's Speedball. But Kevin Knight comes out on Dynamite after his nefarious actions at the very end of that was really like chef's kiss, like the final amazing little garnish on top of the wonderful meal that was Double or Nothing. And he fucking UFO'd Splash Darby on a fucking stretcher. One, that was an insane thing for him to do because he could have killed himself easily, and he did it perfectly. And two, then he flipped the fucking stretcher over because he's really kind of a dick. And MJF had a big smile on his face, and he's clapping for Kevin Knight. You know, this guy is going to be headlining pay-per-views maybe by the end of the year. I 100%. Really think so. He comes out. The crowd's booing him. He's in a fucking turtleneck, which is just like Christian Cage has gotten the turtleneck over to the point where, like, you've turned heel if you're wearing a turtleneck. That's
how much I love turtlenecks too.
Yeah, well, and that's why you're the heel of this show. Basically, Kevin Knight comes out in a turtleneck and dress pants, nice shoes. He's looking dressed up like he's a little too good for all of us. And he says, "Look, Darby let me down. You know, at Double or Nothing. We needed him to win. And by losing to MJF, he let me down. He let all of you down. And I didn't come here to, while I watched from the back on the sidelines, do I look like a bench player to you? Do I? Darby told me not to hesitate when I came here. So I didn't. And I jumped his ass, basically. And he's calling himself the Jet a bunch of times, which works so much better when you're a heel.
Yeah. I will say, though, Kevin Knight, wasn't wrong, though. Darby did let us down. Because how many of us wanted a bald MJF?
Wait a minute. You're saying that this guy who put his body through hell, who took on a former champion, who went bang, bang, and jumped off a fucking... You're going to say that and then you're going to call me a heel for saying Kenny disrespected Don?
Listen, I'm just saying, we all wanted a bald MJF.
Yeah, and now you're siding with MJF, and you're siding with fucking Kevin Knight. Double heel. Bang, bang, indeed. Bang, bang to my heart. You've broken my heart. Wow. Mike Leader says Kevin Knight's so disappointed. Him versus Speedball will be great.
It's going to be incredible.
He was on the local news today all sad about it. I'm not sure. Are we talking about Kevin Knight? I don't know. Oh, somebody might have been on the local news where Kaylee is because they're going to Forbidden Door. That was a jealous voice. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. We are going to be starting a GoFundMe to get me to Forbidden Door, just so I can potentially see Kenny.
Oh, I see. Oh. Tino says we need a backstage where Christian compliments Speedball on the turtleneck. I believe you're talking about Kevin Knight. But yes, I agree. Blair Lion says, don't worry. I've learned from wrestling that you can disingenuously apologize for anything by saying you hadn't had your coffee this morning.
Is that just a wrestling thing? Because I use that excuse a lot.
You're like, I have. I love that books. When we were talking about toxic wrestling fans, how many times you said, well, I've done that. I've done that several times. I do that currently.
I fully admit I'm toxic. I just use my toxicity on the worst toxic people.
That's true. Michael Leader says we do not be dissing the turtlenecks. Hey, I'm not dissing turtlenecks. I'm just saying it is currency for heels. Okay. Oh, Tino Ibarra says Speedball's turtleneck was white, so you knew he was still a good guy. Good point. That is a good point.
It is a slippery slope. One day you're wearing a white turtleneck, and then the next day
you're banging people's mothers and bragging about it. It was Speedball that was on the local news. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you. Okay. Oh, he was in Huntsville. He was in Huntsville. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I was also told by that I was making some points there.
Who said that?
Tina.
Oh, Tina's banned. Yeah, I'm banning him from the show. Don't be contradicting me, Tina. So Speedball comes out very upset in a fucking stellar outfit. I mean, dude, this dude has been planning this moment for a while. You know what I mean? Like, This was a great
they
outfit.
both have. They both have.
And Speedball comes into the ring, and he's like so confident. What is this from Tino? Tino, not the onions. God. Yeah, Kaylee says turtlenecks bring all the heels to the yard. That is true. And yes, the shoes are fire. They were fire. They were. He had these Adidas shoes, but no socks in immaculate wrestling fashion. My simp, Skewered Universe, says Books is the best. Do not silence her fans blade. You're supposed to be my fan, Skewered. You're my simp.
No, we're all slap tarts at the end of the day.
That's right. At the end of the day, all of us are slop tarts. So Speedball comes down and he feels like there must be some kind of confusion. He calls Kevin Knight out. Kevin Knight listens, but he doesn't seem he seems unfazed, shall we say. Speedball tells Knight they're both ambitious. They both want to be the best, but he tells Kevin Knight he's too ambitious and his impatience causes him to make mistakes. And that's when Kevin Knight turns around and lays Speedball out. Puts the MB to the canvas. On the canvas. Lays him out. He did what he had to do, Books, according to him. According to him.
You know what's sad is we all knew this was coming because I feel like they've been setting up Speedball and versus Kevin Knight for a while.
Yep.
But I was not emotionally prepared for that, and I'm still not emotionally okay because what does this mean for Speedball's block?
Right. Well, it's going to change. But change is the only constant in this life, Books, and we just have to accept it.
Well, I don't like that.
I understand. No one likes it. No one likes the inexorable approach of death, but we are all hurtling toward it faster than ever, every single day. All right, so MJF's giving a promo backstage with the Triple B. He's dragging the Darby's world title on the ground, and he has the Triple B over his shoulder. He's talking to Renee, talking about how great everything is, and then Kevin Knight walks into the shot. Max sees Kevin Knight walking through the shot and thanks him. And he congratulates him for turning on Darby. And the Jet says it wasn't for MJF. He wants Max's belt, and he's going to have it. Then MJF just says, goals are good, and he walks off. Kevin Knight turns around, and Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis are staring him down. Don Callis says if he wants to be Jet 2 belts, he should call Don. Later on, he also happens to bump into Swerve, which I knew that was going to happen. I think everybody knew that was going to happen. And Swerve just sat there smiling and laughing to himself. And Kevin Knight walked away looking kind of mad. So a lot happened with the Jet. The Jet. I'm trying to say it as many times as he does.
See, you're not a heel. It doesn't work. So
yeah, it doesn't work. I'm too baby. I'm too likable. You're right. My cousin shared emojis of acorns, it appears, and onions. I'm not sure. Acorns and Onions. There's a band name.
Called it.
Yeah. I'm a slop tart first, simp second. Sorry, them's the rules, bro. Wow. Okay. Well, simp telling me how it is. I don't think that's how simping works. Kaylee kind of wants to heal Speedball.
I do too.
Wow.
I do too.
Wow. Devil Dinosaur says, I believe it was Rush who said no changes are permanent, but change is. Wow. Quoting Neil Peart, R.I.P. Yeah, Arn Anderson and Luchasaurus's garage band name is Acorns and Onions. If you listen to Pro Wrestling Forever, you'll get that joke.
Well, Degree, it's because I'm a real heel, and he's like I'm a good heel, right? But he's like an MJF chicken shit heel that's on a little bit of a babyface run, pretending he's like a good guy.
Yeah. Whoa, Degree just admitted I'm not a heel. That's incredible.
No, that's not what he said.
Antoine says, splashed him in a pair of Timbs, just mwah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. All right, so Kevin Knight, that's what he's doing.
Yes.
Meanwhile, our friend Konosuke Takeshita, in the first bit of good news we've had in this episode, 1 hour into it.
Hold on. Can we just talk about the fact that Kevin Knight is definitely going to be teaming up with Swerve and might be the first member, well, the second member of the embassy? Because it kind of seems like that's where it's going.
I can absolutely see it, except Kevin wants everything right now. You think he's going to play second fiddle to Swerve? And Swerve definitely is not going to be playing second fiddle to Kevin Knight.
I mean, even if it doesn't and he doesn't join the embassy and we get Kevin Knight versus Swerve, it'll be fucking amazing.
That's true. That's true.
So.
No, and I mean, that's of course where it's good. That's of course where it's going is Kevin Knight and Swerve are eventually going to clash in an epic battle where Swerve passes the torch to Kevin Knight. But Swerve needs to hold that torch for a little longer. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't even had enough time with the torch to pass the torch yet.
Oh, Swerve's time's not done.
Degree says some Blade puts the shit in chicken shit. What the? Come on. Come on. Degree is the elite to Blade's Brandon Cutler. What the? God damn. Guys are fucking monsters over there. Okay. New topic. Takeshita. He's conglomerating. That's kind of cool. Isn't that neat?
I think so. That's kind of not where I wanted Takeshita to be. So
you wanted him to go with the elite. I know.
I did. So
we both did.
I'm going to wait and see because a lot of this is my fantasy booking, right? And my disappointment in my fantasy booking. So I'm going to wait and see before giving real opinions on this.
Kaylee Metz says, can Books and I be the Young Bucks and Degree can be Kenny? Why is Degree? What the fuck is happening here? Like,
well, you're Don Callis. Like, you want to be Don Callis, so take the opportunity.
Oh, that's fine. I'll definitely be coming for Kenny then. Blurry Line said, I call Michael Nakazawa because no one's claimed him yet. All right. Takeshita is conglomerating. And I like it because he has just turned babyface, newly minted babyface. And it started when Kyle Fletcher came out with the Callis family. And Kyle Fletcher just starts talking about what a selfish prick Takeshita is. And I got to be honest, Takeshita did kind of put his hatred of Okada first over the family, just like Kyle Fletcher said. And I mean, I'm not saying that he was wrong to do it. I'm just saying that technically what Kyle and Don are saying is correct.
How does Don Callis's loafers taste?
Oh, they're all right. I mean, if you put a little bit of like butter on them, and then they can fit further in your mouth when you're licking his boots. Anyway, so as Fletcher is saying this, Takeshita's music hits, and he comes out with the conglomeration, and he just says, Fletcher, I want you. This is all awesome to me. Okay.
Do you think Sky Blue gets jealous?
Yes. Yes. Because the homoerotic tension between these two is off the charts. I want Fletcher leveling up beyond the TNT title. You know,
same.
Fletcher kind of eyeing Kevin Knight was like, no, move on. You're above this. Like Fletcher's done with the TNT.
I think that's real cut Fletcher coming out and knowing that it's Will's time. So he's willing to take it back. Like that's what I have to believe. Because Kyle, I also think, is a huge little cinnamon roll in real life and just wants Will to get his moment.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of that. Yeah.
So
yeah, he comes out with the conglomeration. I think that's an interesting way to package him. I like it. I gotta say, Fletcher's composure during like his demeanor at Double or Nothing when he came out, and in this promo segment, this guy's hit another new level. Like the way he carries himself, how slowly he walks, how the looks he gives to the camera to convey kind of a sense of mystery about what he might be feeling, especially when he turned heel. It's so fucking good. This guy is a star. He's just a massive star. I think he might have. Yeah. But like he's incredible. Just Kyle Fletcher's really fucking good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I hope they continue to push him because that is their next, like, when the Wills and the Kennys and the Okadas all start to retire, yep. Kyle is going to be their face.
Look at the future of AEW. You got Bandito, Takeshita, Fletcher. You've got Jay White. You've got Darby Allin, provided that Darby Allin can still walk in 5 years. You've got Jack Perry, who I think his stock has really risen for me since he's come back. I can actually see him one day being a world champion now.
It's good to know that at least their men's division is in a good spot for them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They know how to build stars in the men's division, so they know how to do it elsewhere. So no excuses. That's why you guys have no excuses, because you're too good to have excuses. Obscure Universe says, we don't know if maybe Roddy Strong makes some bomb-ass cinnamon rolls. That would be enough to get him to conglomerate. It's true. That is true. Mm-hmm. Kaylee Metz, the conglomeration are cinnamon rolls, and I say that
they really are
out of love. Yeah.
They really are. They are the most cinnamon-coated
That was good. I'm
not even trying. Coated. The most cinnamon-coated faction to ever exist.
That's true. Player Line says Blade does French onion soup shoeys out of Don's loafer. I mean, he only made me do that once. And that was like that was my initiation. That's how they jumped me into the Don Callis family.
Oh, okay.
Tino says we need a mixed tag with Kyle and Sky versus Talk and Yuka. I agree.
Yes.
Really awesome. Kyle has been better than the TNT title for like 6 months at least. I think it was really since that match with Hangman in the main event at All Out. That was the moment for Kyle. Like, he's put him in the main event of a pay-per-view anytime. Skewer Universe says heated Proto Sheeta.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really need more smut wrestling books. Because these rivalries are so smut coated.
Yeah. And
I wish I was a better writer.
Kaylee says, yes, more intergender tag matches. I agree. That would be a lot of fun. So that's cool. It's so really, I've been saying this for a long time. Takeshita cannot take that next level turn until he has a story and something that helps you understand who he is. Mm-hmm. And this finally accomplished that, where you saw he doesn't like cheating. He doesn't like when people interfere in his matches. He doesn't want people to interfere in his matches. He wants people to let him do his thing, and he likes to have friends that he can rely on, but not to cheat in his matches. And that's why he didn't fit in the Don Callis family anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's why he got kicked out. And now he has those friends in the conglomeration.
Mm-hmm. And like outside of like is it kayfabe or K-pop?
Kayfabe.
Takeshita being with Don was so good for his character too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it gave him confidence to speak on the mic. He doesn't really need a mouthpiece anymore.
Right.
So like this is going to be really good for his future.
I agree. No, it set him up. It set him up with everything you really need. Couple other things here. There's some new potential challengers for MJF. Some excite me, some don't. Mark Briscoe interrupted MJF's celebration to challenge him, and I'm going to say I am not super high on that idea. Mark Briscoe versus MJF again. Nah, I'm good.
This is what I'm like. My issues is we keep getting matches like this that are not needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've seen it a bunch. I like Mark Briscoe. I don't see him as the AEW World Title level guy, and I don't want to see him there. And I don't want to see that match take up space that something better could take up. I like Mark a lot. I just don't want him in that position. I don't want him to be challenging for the world title. Yeah.
But you know which one I am excited for?
Who's that?
MJF first Roosh.
Yeah. So as Max is having his little celebration. My God. Is that the fucking Kenny doll?
Yes. I'm trying to move it away from the mic. It's so sensitive that if you move it the wrong way, it starts talking.
Mm-hmm. Devil Dinosaur says, I would agree with Joe that Fletch has been better than the TNT title for months, but who knows what the hierarchy of belts even is in AEW. Yeah, I know. We've talked about it a million times. Blair Line 7 says he grew a backbone, which is a cardinal sin in the cult of Callus, apparently in the cult of WBD as well. You need to be Rocky Romero levels of invertebrate to survive in that. True. Kaylee says, if it's not a dog collar match, I'm not too excited about it. That would actually be kind of cool to see MJF and Briscoe.
And then he can have the real first best dog collar match in.
Yeah. Blurry Line says, if MJF Briscoe is only a TV program feud between pay-per-views, I'm fine. But I don't want this on a pay-per-view. That's kind of, I think maybe I'm assuming that they would do it on a pay-per-view, and that's not really what I'd want at all. I can see it. I mean, because a lot of the Forbidden Door title matches have not been like as premier as they usually are, because they kind of take second fiddle to some of the dream matches that they're making. So I kind of wondered if they would make Roosh or Briscoe a challenger at the pay-per-view. But yeah, Roosh came out as MJF is walking away from Mark Briscoe. Roosh comes out and cuts a pretty decent promo on MJF. I wish they would let him talk in English a little more and say more than just his catchphrase, because he's pretty good at it. And they kind of made him a babyface-ish in this promo, even though we all know Roosh he's a heel at heart. He's got a strangling cable back, which I noticed in the four-way match. Roosh without his green strangling cable is no Roosh at all. And he did get it back. He won a four-way match. It's felt like they've been building him up to for something they've been showing more, more video clips of him. They've been building him up for a little while, so that's cool. Yes, always never said it best. Briscoe is dope. I agree. I want to see a matchup I've not seen. Agree. Kaylee says, erase the sins of the Punk era and put on a banger. I agree. I do agree with that. Yeah. So if they did that on a Dynamite, like a special Dynamite or something, I'd be so down for that. Blurry Line 7, MJF usually does not really participate in Forbidden Door matches. However, he has done it. He had one against Tanahashi, and I believe he had one against Roosh, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of interesting. Because he has wrestled Roosh. I believe it was on a pay-per-view. I believe it was his return match. He wrestled Roosh on a pay-per-view and beat him with a brainbuster. Tino Ibarra says, hey, I will accept no Rocky Romero slander. He and Mystico what got me watching AEW week to week, LOL. The Rocky slander is only kayfabe. I love Rocky Romero. He is a saint and somebody who's done a lot of good in wrestling. MJF gets forced to participate in Forbidden Door, LOL. That's true. That's true. And Blurry Line calls the green strangling cable Greeny Garrott returned sooner than Jay White. Very true. Very true. Okay. So that's what's going on there. And, Kevin Knight also says he wants to be Jet 2 belts. So you've got 3 possible contenders on their horizon already for MJF. There was a very fascinating video montage, not montage. There was a fascinating video shot in the trainer's room with your boy Kenny, who's waving at me obnoxiously and pointing at the sky.
No, he's full of himself.
I thought this was actually one of the most interesting things that happened on the entire show. It was fascinating storytelling. So Will is talking to somebody. He walks into the trainer's room and Kenny is in there with an ice pack on his head. That is a complete inversion of the last time this happened. It was Kenny walking into the trainer's room. Will was in there with an ice pack on, right? After Dynasty. Kenny says that he is happy that Will's advancing, but is shocked to see him working with the Death Riders and asks, why didn't he call Kenny instead? And Will says, I would, mate, but you're never here, which is very true.
Yeah, Will. Yeah, Will.
Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
I think Will was literally the mouthpiece for you, Books. And it's a very valid question. And he says, when can he reach out for you if you're never here? And Kenny says, look, he's not the same guy he once was. He handles things differently. It's not just his body. It's an emotional thing. He needs to get back on the horse in a different way than he used to. Kenny says he's not telling Will not to trust the Death Riders, just to be careful. And somebody goes, well, that's a great advice from behind both of them. And it's fucking John Del Pont Moxley, who shows up with an ice pack for Will. He's already got one for Will because he's got his back now. Moxley says, we all have skeletons, don't we? And Kenny responds, don't we all?
Don't we all? You had a perfect opportunity for me to do my Kenny voice.
Okay, and you do it again.
Don't we all?
Yeah, okay. Then Mox tells Will it's time to go. And Kenny tells Will to call him anytime. And then Will says to Kenny not to give up on that world title. And Kenny tells Will the same. Very interesting.
I am still 100% sure All In is going to be Kenny versus Ospreay.
I feel like it's Kenny versus Ospreay. And how Mox factors into that is another thing entirely. The slight background object in this whole thing is Jon Moxley, where I do feel as though perhaps it could be Kenny versus Moxley for the Continental title, which would be cool. And then the winner faces Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh, so you mean that we finally get the unified back?
Yes. And that's mostly because I just like that belt a lot.
It's such an awesome belt.
Skewered Universe said you had Kenny pointing at the Devil's Sky. Professor Degree, I'm guessing MJF will fuck Briscoe up, which will make him even more hated. That's cool. Just wrap it up quick. Yeah, that's fair. Also, Briscoe kind of got punked in that promo. MJF just was like, no, I'm not dealing with you, and walked away from him. Will said what Books was thinking. That is absolutely true. In fact, Books, I actually thought of you during that moment because I'm like, this is what Books would have said to Kenny if she was in front of him.
I died. I was like, oh my God, are they reading? Again, convinced the fact that AEW pays attention to what we're saying, because I have literally been on this high horse for like 3 weeks now about Kenny not showing up to like. I just want
some compensation. That's all. We are giving them so much that they're using in the creative. Mm-hmm. Don ripping into me for not understanding what an undisputed title or the unified title was. Not gonna lie, Will was fucking on the money in how he ripped into Kenny. Very true, Blurry Line. And Blurry Line continues, Will's turn to the Death Riders is extremely good storytelling because it's rooted in logic and reality. Like, Death Riders are always there, always willing to train and improve. And Kenny does sometimes tell us he's God, but he hasn't been following through on his reputation. That's a good point. Blurry Line. Ooh. Skewered Universe says, wait, was Kenny just here? I swear I heard him. Shut up. Don't encourage this. Sim. Yes, Mox. We all have skeletons inside us. Very good. Tito Ibarra. And then Blurry Line says, I saw somebody else say this too. I wouldn't mind Kenny, Mox, and Will in a 3-way. That could sell a bunch of tickets. Mm-hmm. I think you could sell a bunch of tickets that way.
A ton of tickets.
I would prefer a one-on-one, to be honest, because then you get a definitive winner, unless it's an elimination 3-way. But I would love the 3-way. What am I talking about? All three of those wrestlers have been amazing 3-ways in their careers, completely separate from each other. Yeah. Kaylee says, well, it's technically accurate to call him a god because he is an absent one currently.
Yeah, he's so Chuck coded right now. You won't get that until you watch Supernatural.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's reading lots of unanswered prayers. That's true. Mm-hmm. Books is questioning her faith. Kenny needs to be more present. Yeah.
He almost turned me to Don Callis' side, to the devil.
That was really close. And MJF is the actual devil. So, I mean, you almost went with a false prophet devil, Yeah. Professor Degree says, will someone buy Blade a unified title replica belt so he shuts the fuck up about it?
Can someone buy me one first?
Actually, no, buy it for me, and I won't I'll just be showing it all the time. I'll sit with it on my shoulder during every show.
Yeah, so will I.
I'm excited for whatever this is building up for All In. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I really do. I know Will versus MJF would be great, but I just think of like how AEW started and like Kenny's everything with Will. Mm-hmm. If we're on a Kenny last like type of contract thing, Will versus Kenny, especially at their biggest overseas show, it just feels like a no-brainer.
It's hard for me to see Will versus MJF again. They did it for the international title 2 years ago. And that was the last time they were in England even. And Will beat him, so it's not like they need to do that again. And I don't think people are as stoked for that match as they would be for the rubber match with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. And where Will wins the world title. Maybe Kenny turns heel in the middle of this whole thing because that's kind of
he has the heel hair going. That is his.
He does have heel hair. He does.
The blonde kind of coming out like.
Antoine would normally tell me I'm conspiracy theorizing, but did the Moxley "we all have skeletons"? Did that mean something? Was that alluding to something?
I think it's alluding to Kenny being a heel.
Yeah, or maybe Moxley knows something that Kenny did that was heelish that nobody else knows right now. Like maybe Kenny talked to Don or something. You know what I mean? You're telling me I have to shill 24/7 and then use my own shill paychecks to pay for the merch? I agree.
Kenny betrayed the Bucks like the Bucks betrayed Kenny with Hangman.
Exactly. Ooh. Oh, that's good. I think Will MJF has done basically everything they need to do. We can do that again in a few years. They're both like early 30s. Totally. They'll still be there.
Yeah.
I think you get Kenny Omega in the kind of shape he's in for a very limited amount of time. I don't think he can maintain as much.
No.
And the way he looked in that Stadium Stampede match, he looked even better than he's looked prior to that. And he's looked great all year long.
Yeah. He's definitely back. So let's give these last couple of dream matches like Okada and Kenny, Will and Kenny,
and give him the world title run. Give him one more world title run.
He only needs one more time because then you could put the trios back on the Elite.
Yeah, and I don't think Kenny needs to be champion for long. I mean, if he won the belt right now, he'd only be champion for a few months. But, I want to see that rubber match between Will and Kenny. I think Will's obviously going to win, and that's totally fine. Because I can always go watch that first match where Kenny absolutely destroyed him all over again. And Kenny was such a great heel in that fucking match, too. Oh, my God. Kenny hired the Death Riders to hurt Will. Blurry line. I mean, Mox knows that Kenny fucking worked with Don to screw him out of the world title at the first Winter is Coming. I mean, that's true. Always never says AEW never forgets. I think it was a generic, we all have skeletons in our closet, so not to throw stones, glass house situation. That was my initial impression of it. And then I started thinking too hard about it. I mean, I do a podcast. I have to think too hard about it. It's kind of part of the job. But I think you're right, always never. I think you're right. All right, last thing. We got some Owen Hart tournament stuff. Brody King beat Claudio and advances to face Swerve in the semifinal. I didn't think this was a pretty match or the best I've seen between these two. They had a different style of match than they've had before, and I respect that, though. It was a genuine hoss fight where they just threw shots until one of them went down. I don't think it was a great match, but it was fine. What do you think, Books?
I agree. I kind of, not that I meant to, but I think I tuned out during that match because I think that was the peak of my anger.
Oh, I see. Oh, the real fires of rage were burning. It's been stoked, and we're starting to burn too hard.
I think I was seeing red at that point and don't remember that match at all, other than Brody winning. That's the first thing I remember. It
was kind of slow, and they just punched each other a lot, and then Brody just clotheslined him and pinned him. I mean, it was wild. Yeah, and Blurry Lines, got to remember the Mox Kenny was like the first big feud in AEW. Believe me, I do remember because I bought tickets to go to the first All Out because I was supposed to see Moxley and Kenny wrestle. And then Moxley got injured in the G1 and it became Pac versus Kenny. And that was still awesome. Blurry Line 7, they have years and years of history. I know they are the Joker and Batman of AEW. They take turns playing each role. It's crazy. Screw Universe. I think Mox is basically saying you're no fucking angel, Kenny.
No, He's the one-wing angel, the devil, the ultimate video game final boss, Sephiroth. That is who he is on the inside, and that's who I think Kenny should go out as.
Ooh, Blurry Line has a point. How did I forget the mic drop heard around the world as Kenny went heel? Yeah, I mean, when Kenny and Don did that turn, that was so well done, and the pandemic sucked so hard, but they found something that really, what an angle, AEW has lots of great matches, and they're still they have really improved. I love when they pull a really great angle because that is very different than pulling a really great match. And Kenny has been at the epicenter of many of them.
Kenny pretending to be this little baby face right now that's weak and not weak, but his injury, his diverticulitis, his guts almost exploding. Having that play into this little baby face run he's doing, so when he does turn, because at the end of the day, the Kenny and the Bucks are better as heels. They always have been.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be a massive, especially with the Bucks where they are right now, right? This heel, when they switch to heel again, it's going to be epic.
The Bucks have already gone back to, I love their matches, and who gives a fuck besides that? They're just vanilla.
They're kind of already.
They're already there. I mean, we were talking about this when they first went babyface. Like, I don't like them as baby faces because they become very bland very quickly, and they're kind of bland already. And I love those guys.
Yeah.
They're my favorite tag team of all time. Way better as heels.
Yeah,
way better.
It's time to start the switch.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to go heel. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be Forbidden Door Redemption. Bucks are going to beat Cage and Cope because they're going to go to heel. Kenny is going to beat MJF and go to, like, in a heel way. And we're going to get that heel turn.
I hope so. That would be awesome. I would love another great, crazed heel Kenny Omega. He can grow his Harley Race beard back, or his Triple H beard, whatever you want to call it. The shelf life of a Bucks babyface run is like one pay-per-view cycle. They do need to reset every now and again, but it can't last so long. You called it, Blair. I couldn't have said it any better. That's
yeah, it's one pay-per-view, and we're past that one pay-per-view.
Yeah, we're at like 2 pay-per-views, and there was no pay-per-views for several months. So, Screw Universe says, speaking of video games, Mox look like he's right out of River City Ransom. You know what I'm talking about. Go get your colon checked. Hey, I have a colonoscopy scheduled. My first one ever. Anyway, enough of my ass. The Elite don't have to be pure heels, but definitely tweener as fuck. Yeah. Always never says no Harley Race beard. It was not Kenny's best look. Yeah, the other match that they had for the Owen Hart was Mark Davis, who beat Jack Perry clean to advance, and he will face Will Ospreay. This was a fantastic match. And Mark Davis is really having a moment right now, kind of under the radar. It kind of reminds me of Kyle Fletcher when he was the ROH TV champion. Super, super good. Super. Oh, you're sitting here standing for Kenny in the chat. Is this real? Wow. Kenny should just grow a soul patch. Kaylee says, I need to see the Young Bucks hold gold again, no matter what hoes have a problem with them.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they'll hold gold again. I want the Young Bucks to win the titles again, but as heels. The next episode of Pro Wrestling Forever is just Degree doing a Dr. Heine segment. Let's never know. Bucks always turn face because they're just so damn good in the ring. We can't help but cheer them, but then it's so easy to get tired of them and they return to their best selves. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. So anyway, Mark Davis beats Jack Perry clean with a pile driver off the second fucking rope that he spun around on. So this dude's ass is literally so large that Jack Perry felt safe taking that spot because he knew how much padding there would be for his head. This was a great match, really good match. And Mark Davis is just having great matches. He was on Ring of Honor last night wrestling Adam Priest. Very good match. It was fantastic stuff. There were no women's Owen matches at all this week. There's no women's Owen matches on Collision this week. There is one women's Owen match on Dynamite next week when Alex Windsor faces the wild card. Hazuki is going to wrestle on Collision with Persephone calling on commentary. So that's at least something, but come on now. Like, what the fuck? AEW is so good. And it's so infuriating to have one gigantic blind spot the way they do right now. Antoine says, but Blade, I think you are right. Wow.
What?
What? I don't even know what to say. There's a whole goddamn tournament for the women, but we aren't getting as many matches as we should. Again, TK, sack the fuck up, bro. Tino says, I'm excited for that. Purse is so good on the mic. People need to hear her more. Agreed. She's fantastic on the mic. Persephone is the next up and coming like megastar that I could see just being massive in AEW.
Yeah.
She's my dark.
Well, if they give her time.
Yeah. If they give her time. But if Athena doesn't win this tournament, Persephone is my dark horse candidate. So I would
hearing that Athena loves being on ROH just makes me sad because I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. She kind of called the people out who were like, I want to see her in AEW. She kind of called them out last night on Ring of Honor. I was like, damn, fine, Athena. Whatever.
I think she knows she can do real good there and training the next up and coming. So I'm trying to give her grace there.
Aren't there a couple women in the Owen who are also on the injured list right now? That was Sari and Persephone, but both their matches. Yeah, you're right, Degree. So their matches are being delayed to June for injury purposes. That is correct. I forgot that. So that's at least fair. That's fine.
But they still could at least put supplemental women's match on to make up for it.
Yeah. I mean, something. No, that's true. But yeah, as for the Owen, that's true. I still mourn that we never got another random tournament with another promotion like the one we got with Tokyo Joshi Pro. I know. That would be fun. Also, remember that random ass tag team tournament they did years ago with the women? They just that I think Ty J won it, but like Brandy Rhodes was in it with Allie.
Oh God, I forgot about this.
Yeah, but like they've done women's tournaments before. They should just do more of them.
So here, I said this last night on the Books and Beck show. If Tony Khan will announce that the TBS championship the winner of a C2 for women's will win the TBS, I may be a little less harsh on him. Mm-hmm. But I don't have much hope. I'm not holding.
I definitely don't have a lot of hope for that. Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope for that. I'm looking at that image for Redemption. Very interesting. I think it's very interesting. I think it does look kind of conventionally effeminate or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have some hope. I hope something cool, something unique is going on there. Oh, he's never said Diamante and Ivelisse won spelling. Yes, that's right. That's who won. Yes. Ivelisse had the coolest fucking music, and Diamante appropriated like a different mix of the same song, but the original mix was so dope. I told Mikey Ruckus that to his face. Side note, Purse being so good on the mic is extra impressive because CMLL doesn't really nurture that skill. Not a ton of promos. It's just something she has a natural gift for. Yeah, for sure. I was shocked at how good her promos were when I first heard her talk. Wasn't that long ago. Last comment. I think AEW need to either give Persephone TV time or risk losing her to WWE. Mm-hmm. We do not want that. Tony?
No.
If you cost us Persephone,
I think we should reword this to NXT because NXT and ROH are the only major big promotions booking women properly.
It's true. And that is a trend. It is a trend beyond just AEW. Women are just in the major promotions, AEW and WWE main rosters. They are not being booked well at all.
I mean, my conspiracy theory is linked to the manosphere and the weird uprise of trad wives. And
I think wrestling fans are slow on the uptake in a lot of ways. And anytime they're worried about ratings or anything, they default to dudes. And I don't know why. But
you would also think a show that's based when women come out and basically bras and panties, a little bit more coverage than bra and panties, you think that would be more appealing to dudes, but
yeah, you would.
Just to be gross for a second, I mean,
AEW has one of the best women's rosters of all time. I want to see these people wrestle on your main shows, not on ROH. Not behind a paywall, not on YouTube. I want to see you wrestle on Dynamite and Collision. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Devil Dinosaur says it would suck to lose Persephone to NXT, but at least they'd use her better. Are you listening, Tony Khan? Are you listening? And with that, I will thank you all for listening and joining us live in the chat today. And if you're listening on your podcast, make sure you go to the show notes and click the link so that we can write to WBD and to TBS and really advocate for something to change here. And if we're wrong and it's not them that's making these requests and Tony Khan has to own that, let's make him own it, but we're not one way or the other. We cannot let these guys off the hook. I am so tired of it. And I'm just beyond the excuses now. Until next time, I'm Blade Daly.
And I'm Books and Bodyslams.
Pro wrestling forever.
Sickos Club.